Alrighty, this is the Team Omega final project. Our application name is Climate Change Information Hub. I'm Brent Kohl, and I worked on the feedback page.
Yeah, I'm Dylan Martin. I worked on the forum page.
Oh, I'm Robin, and I worked on the effects page.
Yeah.
Okay, so our application, Climate Change Information Hub, lets people see information about global warming and some of the impacts that it can make to our society. There is a forum where people will be able to converse about the current state and where the world can go from here. There are accounts to let each person post and comment on the forum page. Finally, there's a feedback page that can also be used to help us make sure that the website is working and for any suggestions that may come our way. It also is a good way, the feedback page is also a good way for us to be able to interact with the users when they're having trouble with either posting or other account problems.
Yeah. Our targeted users are meant to be all of the public that want to learn more about climate change and global warming. And it's also people who want to have a discussion with like-minded individuals on the forum page.
The effects page allows you to select the year and displays relevant climate change data accordingly. It, including greenhouse gas concentration and degrees Celsius warming relative to the 20th century average, as well as projections for warming relative to pre-industrial levels. It also includes posts from our community, which can be used to document other.
So this is the account page. From here, you can make an account, or you can log in. I'll just make an account. And, so this will authenticate the user, make sure that the username is not taken already. Then, yeah, so you can see here our account is created. From here, we can go to the form. And now, since we have an account, we can create a post. And here, you see the post shows up on the main form. And then you click this comment button just to look at. You can see like the details of the post, the title, the body, who posted it, and as well, you can also create a comment yourself. And you'll see that that shows up down here. And then you can make a reply to that comment as well. And that'll show up in here. You can go back to the form using this button, and then you can also delete a post if you are the user who made it. So here with 326, so we can delete it, and then it is gone. Yeah, so that's it for the form page. And then our next page is the feedback page.
So this is the page that I mainly worked on, and it's a pretty basic feedback page that makes it super easy to use and is generally pretty well known to most people. It gives a name, which is auto shown as a way to fill it in as John Smith, and email is shown as a fake email before you start typing. Makes it so that everybody knows what they're supposed to be inputting in those boxes. When it comes to the email, if you were to mistype an email and there is no @ symbol or you don't give a valid one, it actually saves the data on the page for you. So that way that you can make sure that the email itself will, right there it says, please include at in the email address because it's missing it. That way it makes sure that if somebody were to send feedback into us, that it gives us the ability to contact them back from our end. And then a nice big feedback page that we can use to be told about different things, whether it's from what they like and dislike about the website, but as well as anything that comes down to accounts and posting issues that they may have. Also, when you hit the submit button here, assuming that everything is put in there correctly, it will then switch over back to the blank page so that you can create another submission, or so that way it doesn't need to exist twice.
Yeah.
And then moving on from our important features on our website, a few things that we each found easy and hard about this project. Starting off for me, a few things that I found a little bit more a little bit easier. It was creating the front end for the feedback page. Using HTML wasn't too hard, as well as using Bootstrap. Intuitive. and made it really easy to start beautifying a website.
Yeah. I would also say the thing that I found easiest was using Express to make the endpoints, because that was significantly easier than the old way that we would do it. Yeah.
Using DOM to be quite straightforward and easy, as well as CSS styling and HTML.
Yeah.
And then moving on from the things we found easy, I think there's each a couple things that we each found a little bit harder about it. For me, a couple of things were the Heroku deployment was actually a little tough. Had a little bit of trouble figuring out how exactly it worked when we first started. So that took a little bit longer. And also mentally visualizing like when information should be available to view or if it should be sent to the server. It made sense to me, but I was also having trouble in the earlier stages prior to us connecting to a server, trying to figure out how are we going to get this information back. And so it took me a little bit longer. I wrote a few extra methods that then ended up not being needed.
Yeah, something that I found hard, or some things, is that creating the account and authorization part of the whole thing is pretty complicated. I had a hard time getting everything to work there. And also creating the forum comment pages, that was hard with all the nested stuff, especially if there was already stuff in the database.
Trouble with async and fetch, and having to write all my code for my functions within the async function. I found that difficult.
Alrighty, and then moving on to our things that we'd be interested in working on in the future if we were to continue working on this project. For me, something that came to me a little bit later in the process was adding a new page that has weekly changing scientific articles about climate change. It would be a good way to keep the discussion forum active because there's always new information for them to look at. It's not just all the random information they see elsewhere. So it can kind of keep it allotted all into one topic a little bit more. It also gives another use to feedback as to what people think about the articles we're posting, if they like the ones from where we're getting them from, or if they don't. I think it'd be a really interesting page to add, and I think that it would be helpful in developing the website a little bit further from where it is right now.
Yeah, for me, I want to add more security for the users, so something like two-factor authentication, or I don't know, like using Google or Facebook to sign in would be great.
I'd like to add, build a effects page with more data, as well as linking it to current articles. I'd also like to add a page that surveys people's beliefs surrounding climate change so that people can view the distributions of different people's beliefs and how widely people's beliefs around climate change vary, just for learning purposes.
And then finally, inside of future work, beautifying the website a little bit so that it all stays a little bit more consistent. And so by adding similar images across the entire website with a nice header that would keep people interested and make it look a little bit more modern. And that way it fits the builds for what we expect coming out of a modern day website, and will also be nicely interactive.